Hey, and good morning, folks. It's time for Retro CSS Battles. These are July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of 2024. This nearly closes out July of 2024. There's still the one with the overhanging bug where submission is impossible. Let's get right to it. What is this shape? I think there's a straightforward way to do this using margins, right, to narrow. If we contort the shapes here, 1, 4, 1, 8, we can create a column, right, with that color. And we have pink and red on my by default template here, and these are just slightly different reds, more or less. So extra K there. All right, so what do we need to do to make that really be correct? 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 150. So it's 150 tall, 181, 1, 2. Okay. And then is it 200 exactly? No, 180, 160. So for some reason, 130. There it is, 130, 140. That's my mistake there, 140. Okay. So if I set a color, like so, and then I do a border box shadow, 40 pixels minus 40 pixels. So I have guessed the number correctly. So then we go 80 pixels minus 80 pixels, 120 pixels minus 120 pixels, and then minus 160 pixels, or 160 pixels minus 160 pixels. And that's a perfectly acceptable way to do that. And it does look like I can copy these, plonk. Now, I've replicated. There's nothing in the CSS spec that says you can't do the same thing twice and have no visual results. But if I just add negative values here, there's the shape. So let's submit and make sure we're 100% matching. And we are. Minify, unit replace, submit. And that is a better score than I've gotten in the past, so I'm happy with that. All right, next. What do we got here? Got some interesting circles going on. I think I'll go nested template, but I'm not even sure that I need anything there. If I do a margin 0 here, what happens? If I do a margin -8, what happens? There it is. And I'm going to put blue on this body. So I'm not sure I need margins at all. So I'm going to clobber that. I've got blue on the background. Let's make a radial gradient. Let's see what we can. I think a variabilized circle is kind of what I want here. Let's find out. Circle, and it's the off-white. It's not totally white. White would be very few characters, or indeed the default. So there's a circle. That's too big, right? Probably. And let's move it. Do 0 minus 200 pixels. Minus 100 pixels. 150 pixels. That's close, right? How about minus 155? Not quite right. How about 75? 70. Ooh, that could be right. So when I say that could be right, I'm saying, hey, that curve is awfully close. I want it to match that curve precisely, and it doesn't quite. I think that means that it's more like 75, so let's make it 150. There it is. So I suspect that these other two would behave the same way. So if I make this a variable, plonk, and we'll C for circle, and then I replace this with var --c. There he is. Because that's repeating, right? So it's a background with a default background position that we're overriding with 0 minus 150, but it's a size that's 400 by 300. And so when we move it, it's going to repeat, right? If we say no repeat, you get that. We could also do, instead of minus 150, I believe we could do 150, which is a little shorter. Kaboom. So that's kind of nice. Let's do another one. And again, we've got the blue in the background here. So we can reuse this, because otherwise, if this had color in it, then we can't reuse it, because the next one would cover the next one, and that's no good. Can't have that. How about 100 pixels? 120? 125? That it? That looks pretty good. And then the same again, but this time with an X value that's negative. Cool. All right, now we got a stripe that we need to do. So what next? Linear gradient, right? Which is going to be blue. We'll even just move that blue. And then the white. And I'm going to set it at 0, 0, 0. Give it a height of 100 pixels. And then I'm going to put red in the background here, because I want to see it go only to the edge of the white stripe, down and here. So if I put red there, then there's no ambiguity when I set a height for this, as long as I don't repeat it and don't get the sizing right. So 100% wide. Okay, so 200 pixels too tall. How about 180? Nope. How about 175? That looks right. And then can we use some percentages here, or Q values? 100Q, and then the color stop at 0. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3. How about what is that, like 70%? 71, 22, 71. Not totally crazy about that. I'm going to remove the no repeat, and I can do, instead of 100%, I can do 1%, and then because a percentage mark can be used as space. Yeah, so that's 71%. I'm going to submit this, but it's not at 100% match right now, and that's not acceptable, because we really want that 100% match. Yeah, 99.7%. No good. We want 110, 120, 125 pixels, and let's submit that. Now, we've got some funky edges a little bit on these circles, but that can be deceptive in the previewer. The diff is showing me, yeah, so the diff is showing me there's a little bit of an edge, but angular, anything not perpendicular to the screen, right? Straight up and down, right? Easy, I'm sort of dancing there. Those angles have anti-aliasing that are part of the rendering process so that they look smooth. That can be tricky to match against CSSBattle.dev server. So sometimes, and in this case, this curve is so extreme, relatively speaking, that the diff just looks not great, even though it is a match. Okay, so let's minify, unit replace, and submit, and we'll have done July 23rd, 2024. Super fun. I enjoy it. All right, and then lastly, oh yeah, recently did there's another one this from July of 2024, which is like looks like a spacecraft or something. Okay, so let's set margins. Here's what we're gonna do. Set the background like that. We're gonna create a shape. Excuse me. Needs to be less tall, right? 50, something like that. Maybe 60, 50, 40, 45. And then use margins to put it into place. And I won't put the border radius on, but I believe that we can get that clean oval using border radius. That's what I hope. I don't remember this one. And then my plan is to do a box shadow to get that right. So 45 is too tall. How about 40? Well, that looks good. That looks good. I'll take that. Okay, and then border radius. If we're lucky, a 50% value will get us a perfect match. Oh, I love it. And then we need a box shadow. We're going to do the bottom one. Box shadow. 0 and then down, which gets you black by default if I set it to this color, right? And then adjust our numbers to a 120. Great. And then in terms of how do you get this shape in behind, I guess I could make lots and lots and lots more of those box shadows. Like I could do 0, 100 pixels, right? I could do bun. The problem is that the edge is going to be no good, right? So that's a terrible idea. I will, however, use my friend the conic gradient with the orange 75% round, and then move too far over, 8, 7, 6, and then down, too far down, 9, and he's too tall, so we need to change the center of that conic gradient. So the center of that is going to be at 200 pixels, 300 pixels, 280 pixels. That looks right. And then he needs to be less tall, so the center is not as low, or not as low. Yeah, so 50% is what it is now. We're going to change that to like 100 pixels. Oh, we actually know. We know where that is. It's at probably 120 minus 40, so 100 pixels. Oh, nope, wrong. So that is actually the top of that, but we're not accounting for the half there. So 120 is what we want. And then we submit that. Let's hope for 100% match as we wait for the server, and that's it. Super fun to revisit these. I've got better techniques for solving these days, and this would have been one that I struggled with making a decision, because my impulse is to try to do everything with background gradients, and it is possible to do those shapes with ellipses in terms of getting it done. Elements are far easier for a shape like this, not for every ellipse, but for many of them, and so that's a fun one. And the other thing, the impulse that I have to use border radius seems to warp things. If I made a single element and then try to do a border radius at the top, I haven't had success shaping that with the more complicated border radius. and then having it be tall and then shaping it. Something about that magic board radius 50%, turning a rectangle, whatever size the rectangle into a clean oval is has been, you know, it's kind of a lesson there. Let's say. All right. So that's from the past, 22, 23, 24, July 2024. Super fun. Go make a web page. Everybody's got web browsers they're carrying around in their pocket. It's pretty cool. Make a web page and share it with your friend. And my sympathies. It's a really difficult time out there, but hang in there, okay? All right. Bye-bye.